All right, first on CNN this morning was Zohran Mamdani less than 2 days away from leading America's largest city. CNN has learned that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will introduce him at his inauguration on New Year's Day. The ceremony will also feature another progressive leader. No big surprise here, Senator Bernie Sanders. New York and the country is about to see if Mamdani can keep his bold promises like expanding universal child care and freezing the rent for many people. CNN's chief data analyst Harry Enten joining us with the odds. How are New Yorkers feeling about Mamdani as we get very close?
You know. It's close. It's close. I'm looking at my fake watch. At least you have a real watch on there, I think.
Inauguration day.
Whatever. I just look at my cell phone. Look, if we look at how New York City folks are feeling about Zohran Mamdani, look at this. Up like a rocket, higher and higher, as Jackie Wilson, a great singer, used to say, right? Mamdani's net favorable rating in New York City in September, it was plus 14 points. Look at where we are now, plus 38 points. That's a climb. If you do the math quickly, right with me right here, Sarah Steiner, 38 minus 14, that's a rise of 24 points in the positive direction. As I said, up like a rocket. New York City voters have never felt better about the man that they elected to lead this city come 2026. He is quite the popular dude right now.
Before governance, that is often a thing,
yes.
Right? It's much harder once you get in there. Looking into 2026, Republicans were hoping that Mamdani would hurt Democrats statewide. What are you seeing when it comes to that?
Yeah, okay. So right now, you know, we're talking about the honeymoon period, right, for Zohran Mamdani, very much in the Jackie Gleason state of mind, and another show that was based in New York City. Net favorable rating, let's look at New York State, right? You have New York City, and then you wind it out to New York State, right? A lot of Republicans statewide were hoping to run against Zohran Mamdani. But look at this. Zohran Mamdani plus 15 points on the net favorable rating statewide. That's, I believe, the highest it's ever been. The much bigger drag is Donald Trump heading into 2026 statewide. We're talking about, look at that, 30 points underwater. If Zohran Mamdani were something, he'd be the Empire State Building, way up there in the clouds in terms of popularity compared to other politicians in the state of New York. And Donald Trump, well, he would be like a garbage dump out on Staten Island.
Wow, that's pretty strong words there.
That's a 45-point difference. That's strong words, but you know what? They're true words.
Waiting for the Truth Social on that one. All right, one of the most controversial policies was Mamdani saying, I'm going to make New York buses faster, but the key word here, free. How do New Yorkers feel about that prospect?
This was a very controversial thing, right, Sarah Steiner? Very controversial thing. But look at this. New York City voters on free buses by taxing millionaires and billionaires more. Look at this. 50% supported in New York City compared to 41% who oppose it. Now, here's the key thing, right? We're talking about millionaires, billionaires, the whole idea. Will there be this rush of billionaires to leave New York? Will there be this rush? Well, take a look at the prediction market. The chance of 8 or more billionaires leaving New York City by the middle of next year. Look at that. It's just 21%. It's
not very high.
It is not very high. What we're seeing is the people who are putting their money where their mouth is think that the billionaires are full of this, they're full of talk, but they're not going to be able to walk the walk.
We will see what happens. That is a very low number there, though. We will see. Harry Enten, it is great to see you, and have a Happy New Year. I think I'll see you again, though.
I think you'll see me again.
Are you going to come back next hour?
No, I'm not going to come back next hour. But I'm going to see you on the air tomorrow night.
Oh,
I'm going to see you on the air tomorrow night. You'll be in Austin, and I'll be in Prescott, Arizona.
Good times. Nice and warm. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Mayor Mamdani scheduled to become, or to be sworn in, I should say, Mayor-elect Mamdani. And you know, his campaign has come with a lot of big promises for New Yorkers, a lot of attention on the Democratic side, too, to see, you know, is this the national or future leader of sort of the Democratic Party direction? But I can imagine a lot of Republicans are also looking at this, too, to see where the holes are. I wonder how you're evaluating what might come next for soon-to-be Mayor Mamdani.
He's proved to be a great foil for Republicans so far, but what is to be seen is if he truly is a socialist, if he's more pragmatic in his policies and governance, or if he's just simply naive. he certainly tapped into the anxiety of voters by making a lot of promises that he may not be able to keep. There could be institutional resistance. There could be bureaucratic pushback. We don't know. His policies could be a complete, total, utter failure. I think that's the most likely scenario to unfold here in the next couple of years. That's all to be seen. But I think a lot of Republicans across the country, where I live in Indiana, people are watching Zohran Mamdani to see what he does and if it's as bad as we predict it will be.
And a lot of New Yorkers here hoping that he lives up to some of his promises. Karen, I want to bring you in and widen the scope here, because 2026 is obviously a midterm year, and Democrats had big wins in this year's elections, Mamdani one of them. I wonder how you see the stakes, not just of the beginning to Mamdani's mayorship, but also around the party unifying either in states like Massachusetts, Michigan, Maine, California, or whether they actually need to get some of the wins that I know Democrats hope come.
Well, a couple of things. Having worked in New York City government, I can tell you that it's going to be a challenge for Mamdani, no question. And he's going to have to work with the governor and with the city council. I hope he succeeds. New Mexico was able to pass universal child care. There's one report that says if he's successful, it will mean 14,000 women will be able to return to the workforce and add some $600 million to the city's revenues. So let's hope he's successful. We should want him to succeed in those endeavors. I think what you're going to see from Democrats across the country is, again, we've got Zohran Mamdani, we've got Abigail Spanberger, we've got all kinds of Democrats running across this country. I think that the message will be obviously focusing on affordability and focusing on, frankly, speaking to the growing dissatisfaction that voters have with the job that President Trump and Republicans in Congress who have failed to hold him accountable, who have failed to do their jobs. Why are we spending so much time on regime change in Venezuela when we still haven't gotten inflation under control? When people just went through Christmas and ran up their credit cards, and those bills will come due next year. And healthcare costs are about to go up. So I think you're going to see Democrats focusing on how do we earn voters' trust to solve these problems.
Economy and healthcare will be tops of minds for voters. Feels like deja vu, but those issues always top of mind whenever we have major elections. Karen Finney, Pete Seat, appreciate you both being here.
I do want to move on to New York, where Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani will be sworn in an abandoned subway station beneath City Hall on New Year's Eve. And then the hardest work will begin, which is governing. He has three main things he ran on: universal childcare, rent freezes, and making buses free and faster. His whole campaign was about affordability, and other Democrats certainly jumped quickly to do the same and won seats in special elections. First to you, Margaret. I mean, how will the Democratic Party, be watching what happens in New York as they gauge for how they should proceed?
It's such a fascinating story to watch. And I think the answer is kind of at arm's length, like looking, but then looking away. You've got Democrats nationally saying New York City is not the same as swing districts across the United States or statewide offices in many states. So reluctant to draw too many parallels, I think. And then on the other hand, this affordability message is so potent and visceral, whether you're in a red district or a blue district. It helped Donald Trump get elected in 2024. It is one of President Trump's biggest obstacles and one of his party's biggest obstacles now, a year later. And for Mamdani, these promises to impact affordability for working class New Yorkers, but also just messages saying sort of like, I hear you, I feel you, it's legitimate to feel like you can't afford anything. These are really powerful messages that helped him get elected, but the measure of his success now is going to be on whether he can deliver on some of these things inside the context of this massive city full of millionaires and billionaires and major businesses also. So you have to be able to run all of the city while addressing this base that helped you get elected. And I think in these early days, we're going to see his decisions about who to appoint to crucial positions inside his government, how many people from the prior mayor's administration to keep over, who will he be able to bring on board to help execute some of these promises? Everyone, Democrats, Republicans, New Yorkers will be closely watching.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a lot of surprise on how he and President Trump got on when he visited the White House.